In the well-lit and comfortable meeting space of the youth prayer group, Denbani, the group leader, sat on the couch reading her Bible, awaiting the arrival of others. She initiated this group based on her personal history, aiming to mentor young individuals facing challenges. Her goal is to guide them towards finding solace in God, the path through which one could find true happiness and liberation from any discomfort. Denbani and her friend Chuba, two high school students, enjoyed heading out for ice cream to unwind and ease the strains of the day post-classes. Denbani consistently aimed to uplift her depressed friend by bringing up a smile to her face because she was aware of her challenging home environment. Unfortunately, their lovely friendship concluded when Chuba chose to end her own life, unable to endure her circumstances. As Akika and Ture, two teenage boys, entered, their jovial conversation filled the room. Greetings were exchanged as more and more young individuals joined, creating a warm atmosphere of introductions and smiles. The young boy was picked on by his own churchmates for no reason whatsoever. He is disheveled and distressed. As the murmurs grew, another boy watches his friend as a sense of powerlessness washes over him because he can't provide any help. He witnesses the painful ordeal that his dear friend is enduring. During the town's piano recital, Masa, a graceful young woman, performed on the piano to receive an enthusiastic applause from the audience. Post-recital, her anticipation for a warm welcome and praise from her dad turned into disappointment as he looked uninterested, garnering only poor acknowledgement. Her sister, noticing this, cast a sympathetic gaze towards Masa. Masa, disheartened by her family's recurrent discouragement, sought solace in alcohol. One day, as her dad returned home, her mother, waiting for him, guided him to their daughter's room where they discovered Masa unconscious through a small gap in the curtains. In a fit of anger, the father burst into the room and despite the mother's attempts, he violently shook Masa awake, leaving her in a half-dazed state. All suffering from alcohol addiction sat together for a time of reflection. Among them was the young girl, Masa, who was sent to this AA meeting by her family. A lady sitting next to her gave her a card for a youth prayer group. The leader playfully nudged at poor Zoto, who didn't involve in the conversations and seemed lost. Let me now introduce you to his story, a tale of a mistreated boy. His daily ritual involved sitting on the floor, tuning into the blaring TV to drown out the surrounding arguments. The television, however, served as mere background noise. His attention was elsewhere, lost in the days. With each passing day, his bruises deepened in hue. Overwhelmed by the pain, he cast a final gaze at the people on the streets and the birds in the sky. As he closed his eyes, inhaling deeply, he leaned towards the ledge, only to be interrupted by a young woman, the eventual leader of the youth group who had summoned him there. Silently, Epi slipped into the unfamiliar room, cautiously peering through the door. The room embraced Epi with smiles, waves, and handshakes. In a dimly lit hall, the pastor of the church stood on the stage, delivering his sermon. As the sermon concluded, among them, a young girl, Epibeni, approaches the pastor with a hopeful smile. The pastor initially smiles back at her, but as the girl continued to speak, his expression turned sour. The pastor then said something sternly, shook his head, and dismissed the child. The next day, the woman pastor of the church comes to Epibeni's house to have a talk with her mom. The mother and daughter happily greets their guest, and the young girl welcomed her with a glass of water. The girl was asked to leave, and the concerned woman pastor aware the mother that her daughter had questioned the pastor about his wrong preaching. Later, as the talk was over, the angry and mostly embarrassed mother barged into her daughter's room and hit her. After the introductions, the congregation settled back into their seats, eager faces turned toward Epi, ready for the meeting ahead. Everyone is welcome in God's kingdom as long as they have true faith in Him. And this fact stays true for the members of this youth prayer group. They all have their unique stories, their unique backgrounds, and they have all experienced the love of God in their lives.